after reaching the finals. Is CP3 a top 5 point guard all time now?
Well, he was on my list of top 5 point guards of all time. I don't think there's any dispute with me. You can argue with me about it, but he's on that list. I mean, Magic Johnson's my favorite point guard of all time. I think he's the best point guard of all time. But Chris CP3 is on that list with a John Stockton, with a Magic Johnson, with an Oscar Robertson. He's top 5 to me. And even before last night happened, where he put that 41-point piece on them, especially 7 of 8 from the three-point line, the fact that he has been able to still do this in the 16th year and play at that kind of a high level and be that leader that you were hoping to get and you knew you were going to get, but you didn't know what kind of how that was going to manufacture itself. We've seen that when he was with Phoenix and with other teams as well. I did not need to be convinced that Chris Paul was a top 5 point guard of all time. Now, last night, of course, helps that, no doubt about that. But he's always been that pure point guard for me that can control the game, can really get on your last nerve the way he plays defense, does a little things here and there to get under everybody's skin. But last night didn't have to convince me he's a top 5 point guard of all time. I already had that in my mind no matter what happened in this series.
Look, I'm not ready to go there yet. And the reason I'm not ready to go there because he's not done playing. CP3 has at least 3 to 4 more good years left in him. When you mention the names of Magic Johnson and Oscar Robertson and Stockton, you know, you still got, in my opinion, you still can argue the Jason Kidds of the world, right? You still can argue the Steve Nashes of the world. I think Chris Paul has so much more basketball to play before we start saying top 5, top 4, top this. Let that play out. Because, yeah, the body of work that he's done in his 16 years has been there. There's a but in there because he hasn't cashed in that chip yet. And I think once that chip happens for him, it will be clear cut that he is probably a top 5 point guard. Magic Johnson was on our show the other day, and we simply asked Magic if Chris Paul was a top 5 guy, and he kind of, you know, didn't give an answer, kind of said, well, let's wait and see, much like me, because you have to finish the deal. I think, you know, 16 years you would think, okay, yeah, that's finishing the deal. But because he has years left, I want to wait and see.
Yeah, look, here's where I'm at on this conversation. I think one thing sounds like we agree on is this. Magic Johnson is the guy for me. He's the best point guard of all time. This is a subjective conversation, obviously. There's no set criteria here. One of the things that makes it difficult to compare all these guys, the position has changed so dramatically over history and what the responsibilities of that position are. It's really difficult to compare guys from different eras because the point guards of the modern era are more about guys that can go and get you 25 to 30 on any given night. That wasn't a primary responsibility for most of the point guards historically. When you start talking about a guy like Magic Johnson, you start talking about a John Stockton. I mean, Oscar Robertson put up those kind of numbers, but they didn't think that way back then. You know, even a guy like Jason Kidd, it was different during his era. It's not the case now. Chris Paul has more of an old school mentality about the position. He's absolutely worthy of being in the debate after Magic. All those other guys. And one guy, by the way, that you guys didn't mention, and I'm just listening to all the names, I think you covered most of them. One guy, I didn't hear his name, was Steph Curry. I think you got to put him also in this list and in this conversation. But again, look at the nature of the way Curry plays. It's totally different than the way Chris Paul, Magic Johnson, Jason Kidd, John Stockton played the position. You know, Damian Lillard is one of the more explosive point guards of our game now. And who knows, after 6-8 years down the road, we might put Damian Lillard in that category. And again, plays the position completely differently. So it's a tough debate. It's a difficult conversation. But I do not have a problem with Chris Paul being in that group of guys when you start making your list 2 through 5.
I just want him to finish the deal, Legs. You're right. And you say we didn't mention Dame, Dollar, or Curry. The reason I wouldn't put Steph in there because he's in a box by himself at the style of play. Like you said, this era of basketball is a little bit different. I mean, if you said to me, Key, pure shooter all-time NBA, I would say Curry. And if you said point guard, I just wouldn't say that, even though he plays the position. It's almost like at the wide receiver position. Guys say he's a great wide receiver. This dude playing the slot, man. He's never caught a ball on the outside a day in his life, but he has 700 career catches all from the slot. So the first thing you say is he's a wide receiver. It's like, no, he's not a wide receiver. He may be listed as a wide receiver, but he is a slot receiver. And so that's kind of how I look at Steph Curry. I look at him in a different box all by himself.
It's funny. I thought about this, Key and Legs, when you mentioned in terms of comparing eras and how the point guard position has changed. And that's why you have these subjective conversations, because it's very hard to compare eras. For example, Drew Pearson waited that long to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. To me, he should have been in the Pro Football Hall of Fame 15 to 20 years ago. But people tried to compare his numbers to other numbers after him. And I think that's where the whole conversation is with Chris Paul and with Magic Johnson, Oscar Robertson. Another guy we forgot about is Isaiah Thomas. To me, Chris Paul is almost like a generation Isaiah Thomas in this day and age, being that old school point guard that can make big shots and was a tough guy and a tough defender. So, yeah, that's why it's hard to compare eras. But there's certain guys that I think can go past that, and that's why I had Chris Paul in my top 5. We look at LeBron James. He's not finished with his career yet, but it's automatically assumed that he's a top 3 player of all time in the NBA in terms of being the greatest of all time. I know it being subjective in terms of being selected with the point guard position and different positions, but you're right, Key. When you have wide receivers, you can try to compare numbers, but it depends on where a guy played or what era he played in. That's why it's hard to try to match Jerry Rice here and Sterling Sharp there and you there and somebody else. It's the same way with the point guard position in the NBA, because Oscar Robertson averaged a triple-double for a whole season. That wasn't done ever again until Russell Westbrook. And then that conversation came about, he's a stats compiler. And think, well, that's stupid. If you're a great player, you're compiling stats. That's exactly what you're doing. So Chris Paul's been able to compile these numbers, and that's why I put in my list of top 5. But I clearly understand from your point and Leg's point, when you're trying to compare guys in different eras and different styles, it becomes more of a subjective conversation than a truth conversation.
Well, that's why I would say,
Hey,
Legs,
one thing,
I want to know. Go ahead. Go ahead, Lex.
I just want to finish up one thing about this, because this is an important point. Freddie brought up LeBron James' name. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. LeBron James is a point guard. He's going to go down. He's going to be recorded as a small forward. LeBron James has initiated offense probably 75, 80% of the possessions he's been on the floor in an NBA game. He initiates all offense on the teams he plays on. Like, he played with Kyrie Irving in Cleveland. You going to try to tell me that Kyrie Irving was a point guard on that team? No, LeBron James is the point guard on every team he's played on. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. When the responsibilities are that different, it's hard to label guys and what they are. That's why for me, clearly Magic was a point guard, and I just think the winning, the playmaking, the ability to take over a game as a scorer if he had to, the way he dominated games as a rebounder, if that's what it took, and he's just mainly the ultimate winner. That's what I view Magic Johnson as, and that's why I would put him number 1.